A court document stated that on Tuesday, a federal judge in the United States put a temporary hold on Microsoft's ability to complete its acquisition of gaming giant Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. In a judgment, Judge Edward Davila stated that it is necessary to maintain the status quo while the court considers a longer-term injunction on the transaction. This is something that the authorities at the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has sought. According to the judgment, a hearing about the subject will take place on June 22 and June 23 in the federal court in San Francisco to hear evidence regarding the matter. The decision came just one day after the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, requested that a federal court prevent Microsoft. In the filing, the regulator stated that a preliminary injunction is necessary to prevent interim harm while it assesses whether the proposed acquisition violates U.S. antitrust law. The FTC is looking into whether or not the proposed acquisition violates U.S. antitrust law. The verdict that was handed down on Tuesday prevents Microsoft from moving forward with the deal until the court decides whether or not to issue a preliminary injunction that was requested by the regulators. The United States government hoped that by asking for a preliminary injunction in the Northern California District Court, they would be able to stop the corporations from closing the agreement before the deadline of July 18. A hearing before the FTC to debate the merits of the agreement is scheduled to take place in August. A restraining order would halt the agreement before the process has had a chance to run its course. After hearing the FTC's arguments as to why the buyout is illegal and Microsoft's arguments as to why it should go through, the judge in California would need to give his approval to halt the transaction. Microsoft President Brad Smith made the following statement on Monday: "We welcome the opportunity to present our case in federal court." In addition, he stated that we believe that accelerating the legal process in the United States will ultimately bring more choice and competition to the market. Microsoft, the owner of the Xbox gaming console, made an offer to acquire Activision Blizzard at the beginning of this year to become the world's third-largest gaming company in terms of revenue, after China's Tencent and Japan's PlayStation maker Sony. Although the merger has been approved by the European Union, it was halted in April by Britain's Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, because it would reduce competition in the cloud gaming industry. The Federal Trade Commission filed a lawsuit in December to prevent Activision Blizzard, the company that developed the immensely popular Call of Duty video game, from closing a deal due to worries that the deal would reduce the number of available options for consumers. Lina Khan, an antitrust academic, is currently in charge of the regulatory body. Before being nominated by President Joe Biden for the position she currently holds in 2021, Khan was a proponent of splitting up the largest technology companies. Khan has said that Facebook's parent company, Meta, is limiting competition by purchasing startup businesses, and the FTC has been looking into Amazon's business practices. In the meantime, the United States Department of Justice has initiated legal action against Google, alleging that the company has violated antitrust laws regarding online search as well as advertising. Microsoft, the owner of the Xbox gaming console, made an offer to acquire Activision Blizzard at the beginning of this year to become the world's third-largest gaming company in terms of revenue, after China's Tencent and Japan's PlayStation maker Sony. Although the merger has been approved by the European Union, it was halted in April by Britain's Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, because it would reduce competition in the cloud gaming industry. The Federal Trade Commission filed a lawsuit in December to prevent Activision Blizzard, the company that developed the immensely popular Call of Duty video game, from closing a deal due to worries that the deal would reduce the number of available options for consumers. Lina Khan, an antitrust academic, is currently in charge of the regulatory body. Before being nominated by President Joe Biden for the position she currently holds in 2021, Khan was a proponent of splitting up the largest technology companies. Khan has said that Facebook's parent company, Meta, is limiting competition by purchasing startup businesses, and the FTC has been looking into Amazon's business practices. In the meantime, the United States Department of Justice has initiated legal action against Google, alleging that the company has violated antitrust laws regarding online search as well as advertising. Ubisoft has a long history of being known for its willingness to take risks on new gaming inventions. The business began an early relationship with Nintendo on the wide platform, which became a hit in 2006. Now, ahead of the debut of Apple's Vision Pro headset next year, Ubisoft chief executive Yves Guillemot is preparing to make another bet on the future of gaming, this time on the prospect that virtual reality is just around the corner. Following a decade that has witnessed the revolutionary emergence of free-to-play smartphone games and titles that can be streamed directly from the internet cloud, Guillemot believes that virtual reality is going to be the next major industry disruptor. During a company showcase event on Monday in Los Angeles, he provided his comments to AFP. "VR is eventually going to happen," he said. He went on to say that it was wonderful for all of us that Apple was making such a significant investment in the field. Apple has joined Facebook's Meta, which had been the main force behind virtual reality video games, in pressuring studios to adapt versions of blockbuster titles for its virtual reality Quest device. Facebook's Meta had been the driving force behind virtual reality video games. According to Gilmot, Apple's commitment and investment will take that industry to a new level, and Ubisoft for sure considers the possibility of one day developing games for the Apple Vision Pro. It's going to come, Gilmot said, as soon as sufficient numbers of the headsets, which cost $3,500 each, are distributed to consumers, increasing one's scope of vision. Matt Piscatella, executive director of video games for consumer behavior monitoring firm Circana, issued a warning that the process of designing games for new platforms doesn't always work out perfectly. The analyst stated that putting multiple bets seems to have generally paid out rather well for the company over the years. But by supporting new market entrants, Ubisoft is usually well-positioned should that new product or service type succeed, the analyst said. And in a time when the video game industry is through a period of consolidation, Piscatella complimented Ubisoft's policy of diversification as the company broadens the types of entertainment it provides. The CEO of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot, stated that the company would continue to expand into the film and television streaming content markets. Ubisoft is the company that is responsible for the success of the comedy series Mythic Quest, which airs on Apple TV. The series takes place, not surprisingly, in a video game development studio. In addition, the business revealed on Monday that its computer-animated series Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix, will make its premiere on Netflix later this year. The series takes place in a dystopian cyberpunk version of 1992 and contains adapted versions of characters from games published by Ubisoft. According to comments made by Guillemot to AFP, the goal here is to make sure that our brands can reach more players all over the world. By having our work featured on Netflix, Amazon Prime, or any number of other networks, we can raise awareness of those companies and invite people from all over the world to participate in our productions. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.